Yeah. So once again, to those of you, especially to those of you who are joining us for the first time, I extend a very warm welcome to this in the CSE environmentally. My name is Sakshi, and for those of you joining us for the first time, let me quickly introduce you to the network. The Green Educators Network, or GEN as we call it, it's a vibrant community of college educators teaching environment related courses in universities across the nation. GEN members work actively towards nurturing the skills and knowledge in young students so that they can contribute to sustainable and equitable development. We organize a variety of events for our network members, just like this lecture series that we are attending today. We organize conclaves, we have a host of resources for educators. So, for those of you who are not a GEN member yet, you can join the network by filling out a simple form.
सॉरी बेटे मेरे को Zoom मीटिंग
Could I please request the participants to keep themselves on mute so that we can run the session smoothly? Thank you. Yeah, you can register for the Gen session for the Gen network by filling out a simple form. We'll post the link for the membership form in the chat box. You can simply fill that out and you will start receiving updates from our site for all the future events that we hold for the network. Now coming to today's session, as we navigate the complexities of the climate crisis, biodiversity loss, and sustainable development, it becomes imperative to embed environmental consciousness at every level of education. Environment education should not just inform students about the ongoing crisis or focus only on the mitigation strategies, but also equip students to adapt to it. And that is the vision that is reflected in NEP 2020. But before we begin, let's take a quick check on environment studies in the institutions that are represented here today through all of you. You'll see a poll on your screen. Please respond to the two questions that you see so that we can get an overall idea of what is the status of environment studies in your respective institutions. Are you able to see the
No, we can't see the poll, Sakshi.
all right. So maybe you can respond in the chat box. We would just like to know if environment studies is a qualifying course in your respective institutions, or is it a credit-based course? If it is a credit-based course, then how many credits are allotted to it? We have heard in our discussions with educators that somewhere it's 2 credit course, somewhere it's 4 credits. So if you could quickly respond in the chat box about the status. Okay, we do have a few responses in the chat box. Let me quickly see them. Okay, 4 credit course, 2 credit course. Okay, we also have somebody stating it's a 3 credit course in their institution. No credits, qualifying paper, right? So we can then safely assume that there has been no uniformity when we talk about environmental studies. Now, the NEP 2020 marks a very major shift in the educational paradigm, particularly in terms of environment education. It talks about holistic education, multidisciplinary education, and it includes all higher education institutions within its ambit as well. It focuses on community based projects, community engagement, and field work as the major focus area of environment education. So it envisions education that not only promotes academic excellence, but also instills a sense of responsibility towards the planet. I'm sure most of you must be aware that environment education was made compulsory at all levels of education through a Supreme Court verdict in 2004. The UGC came up with the different syllabi for the course at different stages. So there was one syllabus in 2003, there was one that was launched in 2017, and then there's one that has just come up last year, which is the latest framework, and it is unique in the sense that it is a framework instead of actual list of topics or syllabus. So it's a guiding framework. So there are a lot of questions in everybody's mind regarding what this syllabus is about, what NEP says about environment education, how would it change the scenario within classrooms. So that is what we are going to delve into today with our special speaker. To those of you who are already Gen members, Professor R. Bhaskar does not need any introduction. But for those of you who are here for the first time, he is a veteran Gen member, serves as a geology professor at the School of Sciences at IGNOU in New Delhi. He has more than 26 years of teaching experience, and he oversees undergraduate, postgraduate, as well as doctoral programs in earth and environmental sciences. Before IGNOU, he was the Director of Public Outreach and the Chairperson of the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering at Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology in Haryana. He has served in various committees that explore the ramifications of NEP, and therefore we thought he would be the perfect person to delve deeper into this issue today. Most welcome, Bhaskar sir. We are delighted to have you here today.
Thank you, Sakshi, for the setting the context for today's talk and also for the generous introduction. First of all, I should thank CSC and Sunita Narayan and Suparno, yourself, Sakshi, and Tushita for giving me this opportunity to share my views. In fact, CSC has been close to my heart. Somewhere in 1992, I came in contact with CSC, and since that time, I have been associated in some form or other, and it has given me a lot of understanding of environmental issues. And today, I will stick to the topic, and I'm grateful to number of students of mine, number of foreign collaborators who have joined, and number of people I know, senior people, faculty members who have joined. My deepest regards to all of you that you took out time to listen to me. So I'll just share the screen. Tushita, you just have to let me know if it is okay. Is the screen okay, Tushita?
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Okay, now I'll just have to. Okay. Okay, now today we are going to discuss about this NEP 2020 and beyond. That means we are going to see it's what are the implications of the new policy. We will also see a historical background. Since we have a lot of foreign delegates here, I just thought that I will share some more information about the higher education system in our country. Now, okay. Just to tell you, friends, the All India Higher Education Survey was done, and this is published in January 24. Higher education in India is complex and diverse. The most important thing is that we have a student population of nearly four. Am I clear? Audible? Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir. Please go on.
Okay. Okay. The total population is 4.33 crore or 43 million. Roughly, to tell you, it's the population of Spain. Why I'm giving this background is that you will understand how complex it is for the regulators to get something implemented because of these huge sizes and variations. The gross enrollment ratio in higher education is 28.4, What is gross enrollment ratio? Just to tell you, the number of youth between age 18 to 23 who get the opportunity to study in the higher education. And this new education, national education policy aims to increase it to 50% by 2035. Today we are 28.4%. Just to tell you, we have a huge demographic dividend, we have a huge young population, and to compare, GER in United States is 86%, in Japan it is 59%, in Germany it is 30%, and India's GER at higher education is lower than the global average of 38%. So you can see this is a huge ecosystem, and there are a lot of variations. There are government universities, there are central universities, there are state universities, and there are private universities, there are deemed universities. And if you see the total enrollment which we have in the government university is 73.7%, and in the private universities, which is increasing in great number nowadays, is 26.3 number. Also, India has opened up to foreign campuses, and in Gujarat, we already have from Australia, some of them setting up their campus. And India also has set up campus abroad. For example, in IIT has set up in Tanzania and other places. So it's a really great movement for higher education. And total number of universities, if I tell you, we have 1,168 universities, and colleges we have 45,000, and standalone institutions are 12,000 around. And total faculty members in the whole country is around 16 lakh, 15.98, and gender distribution is 56% is male and 43% is female. I'm giving you this background so that the higher education complexities are understood. Now, I just thought I will let you know what is the position in the Indian constitutional framework about the environment. Two important articles were there. They were 42nd Amendment of 1976, 51 AG, and 48A. They are very, very important amendment. And what is the amendment? 51A states that it is the duty of every citizen to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, rivers, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Now you can see what is 48A. Not only the citizen has a role, the state also has a role. The state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard and forest and wildlife of the country. Now, let me tell you, this amendment came because whatever happens in the global system, the narrative is set, and that follows in all nations. Let me tell you, friends, most of the NGOs, including CSE, was established in 1980s. Somewhere in 1972, you had the Stockholm Conference. The then Indian Prime Minister attended that conference. Then a lot of changes took place. And we have, as a consequence of these meetings and the Bhopal gas tragedy which we had, we have the Environmental Protection Act 1986, and it is a very, very critical legal instrument for environmental protection in India. And the courts have been very active, and we have had a person by name Shri MC Mehta, advocate, and he has filed number of cases, public interest litigation. This is a unique legal instrument in which any citizen can approach the courts on any matters of public interest, and it may not be his personal issue. It is something related to the public. That is why it is called public interest litigation. And this gave a lot of power to the people, and then a lot of cases were filed, and the environmental role, the judiciary played a very positive role in the development of environmental activities and the guidance. And you will see that you can file it in Article 32 in the Supreme Court and in Article 226 in the High Court. And large wave of environmental litigation took place somewhere from the 80s. Now, I said to you, Supreme Court is responsible for number of activities, and including the compulsory environmental course, which was there was a case filed MC Mehta versus Union of India in 1991, the court said that the medium of education, awareness about the environment and its problem related to pollution, should be taught in all levels of the education. But unfortunately, this was not implemented. And again, the court had to be approached, and there was a follow-up order in 2003. And in 2003, when the follow-up order was made, environmental education was made a compulsory subject at all levels of education. Courses of environmental sciences were introduced because of the court order. And this order basically introduced the idea of requiring a course on environmental education. And as a result of these directions, the University Grants Commission was directed, and the Ministry of Education and all the higher education bodies, UGC mandated a 6-month module syllabus for undergraduate courses. Now, whatever the Supreme Court orders, compliance is mandatory, and this applies to all states and union territories, and it also applied to the schools. And National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCRT, worked with state government to provide support for implementing environmental education even in the schools in the formal education system. Now, the Indian government had 3 important policies. In 1968, we had the National Policy on Education that did not address environmental studies or environmental issues. That is obvious because in the international scene, somewhere in the 60s, the Silent Spring book was published. It just started. And after 72, when we had the first conference in Stockholm, Human and Environment, then, the idea started picking up. And in 1986, which was modified in 1992, specifically mentioned one paragraph that we should include environmental protection in the syllabus. Teaching in the schools and colleges should be guided by environmental consciousness. This is mentioned as a separate point, 8.15. This shows that how developments in the international narratives influence the national policies. And in 2020, NEP provided the guidelines, course content, and credit requirements. And in that, in 2023, we have the guidelines for the environmental education. So I will discuss this. Just to tell you, friends, whatever policies are coming in NEP 2020 are based on the principles of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. Now, this policy, so many guidelines are coming, and all these revolve around these principles of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. Now, there are certain unique features of this policy: multidisciplinary and holistic. Second, it has academic bank of credit. A student can, just like you have a credit in the bank, you can get the courses and get yourself the credits for that. And you can also have credit transfer. This allows you to move from one institute to another. And earlier we did not have this. If a student dropped from education, there was no multiple entry or multiple exit options. But now, if a student does an undergraduate of 4 years, after 1 year, he gets a certificate, after 2 years, a diploma, after 3 years, a graduation degree, and after 4 years, graduation with honors or, research. So there are a number of regulators in higher education of India, and this new policy says that there will be only 4 verticals: National Higher Education Regulatory Council, National Accreditation Council, National Education Grants Council, and General Education Council. Now, these are related to regulations, these are related to accreditation, these are related to grants, and these are related to academic standard settings. Now, just to tell you, friends, that why it has taken so long and so complicated is before this NEP 2020, for different subjects, you had different regulators in operation. And for each subject, you had to take the permission of those regulators. UGC and 14 professional councils regulate higher education. We had National Council for Teacher Education, Medical Council if it is related to medical education, Dental Council, Council of Architecture, Bar Council. If it is engineering courses, it is All India Council of Technical Education, then NCRT, then Council for Indian Medicine, Indian Nursing Council, Pharmacy Council, Distance Education, Central Council. So all this, the NEP will bring it under a single umbrella. There will be a single regulator. So now the implementation of the policies should be relatively easier. I give this background so that you understand why, despite the court orders, UGC had to take out several circulars for the institutes to get them implemented. Now, I just wanted to talk about the international scenario where, Sustainable Development Goal 2015 to 30, in which Sustainable Development Goal 4 talks about higher education. There are commonalities between Sustainable Development Goal 4 and NEP 2020, which says universalism in higher education and lifelong learning. Now, this SDG 4 says that we should ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. It also aspires to eliminate gender and economic imbalance. That is what our NEP says, equity. And higher education as a policy of instrument helps people become more self-sufficient, enhances economic growth by boosting skills, improving lives, etc. So it's a very important area. Now, NEP, if you see the document, it highlights the important environmental concerns. In the first page also, you can see it clearly mentions that there is a need to address global needs for energy, water, food, sanitation. This is a global crisis we are facing, and NEP recognizes this, and this shows the importance the national education policy gives to environmental issues. And it emphasizes that environmental education should be integrated into the curricula. And it also aims that people should be sensitive and understand the environmental conservation issues and follow the sustainable development principles. Now, it strongly recommends that it should seamlessly integrate into all the Indian educational programs, irrespective of whether it is science, arts, or any discipline, medical or anything, engineering. Now, this recommendation extends beyond schools to include undergraduate levels. So it's a very far-reaching decision taken by NEP 2020, and it emphasizes the societal issue that we are facing world over. Many of the developing countries are also facing, and even in the developed countries, there are large number of issues. Like we are also having issues in most of the countries like clean water, education, healthcare, transportation, air quality, energy, infrastructure. It's not that in the Western countries there are no environmental issues. The environmental issues are different. They use technology to solve it, but each time they solve a problem and a new problem crops up. It's like, you use unleaded petrol, then you use leaded petrol, then you take the clean fuel, and then there is PM10, then there is PM2.5. So then now there are, microplastics, so many issues coming up. There is, the NEP recognizes the need to merge cutting edge science and technology with social sciences, humanities, and the socio-cultural and the environmental aspects. For the first time, it is clearly saying that we should have people who are trained in artificial intelligence, 3D machining, data analytics, and how this should be integrated in the UG programs so that these can be applied for solutions in health, environment, and sustainable living, to also to solve the environmental issues and increase employability. It also specifically mentions the disruptive technologies which can be used for clean energy, water conservation, sustainable farming, and environmental preservation. This shows how much importance this policy has given to environment. This also talks about integrating environmental education in the school curricula, promoting awareness, conservation, and sustainable development. In the schools, right, you are having in different subjects the issues about environment, water, resource conservation, sanitation, hygiene. NCRT is the agency which forms the school syllabus, and it is based on inputs from ministries, departments, states, and union territories. And they also organize several outreach activities so that the students, the youngsters, are familiar and sensitized towards environmental issues. Now, if you see the school books, they address environmental issues from class 6 to 12. science textbooks have chapters on environmental issues, and social science and language textbooks also address environmental issues. Now, NCERT has created supplementary material for students as well as instructors. And the teachers who teach in the school have to complete a B.Ed program, Bachelor of Education. And UGC, this document, NEP 2020, has mandated that all B.Ed programs mandated to integrate environmental awareness and sensitivity towards its conservation and sustainable development. So you can see how much importance is given so that all the teachers are aware of the issues and they can carry it forward. Now, NEP encourages holistic and multidisciplinary education through flexible and innovative curricula. And this policy offers credit-based courses. That is very important. I will talk about it. And how projects can be designed relating to community engagement, service, and environmental education. So this talks about how to involve with the local communities, how in the institutional development plan, we have the social mission, which is also the environmental issues. Now, there is the institutional development plan, which is mandatory. Every institute has to come. This is one of the key policy documents of the UGC. And this document clearly mentions that we should promote energy efficiency, waste reduction, and minimizing impact. Let me tell you, friends, this document will be the basis for the institutes, colleges, and universities to get grants in the future. Based on the progress made in this, based on the commitments made, the grants will also be given. So this is a very serious document, and all institutes are advised, rather it is mandatory, to get these kind of plans prepared for the next 10 years. And every institute has now started working. Some of them have already started preparing. And policy talks about a green campus strategy, which CSE has been talking for long in the universities as well as school. CSE has been campaigning for this. Now this IDP has given this green campus strategy, where you have to preserve the ecosystem by safeguarding natural landscape, reducing carbon emission, and conserving water resources. And it also talks about awareness campaigns to be conducted. Now, this institutional development plan very interestingly talks that we should use recycled materials, consider the urban heat island effects, like designing building or phasing out fossil fuels, efficient transport strategies inside the campus, like zero or battery operated vehicles, eco-friendly technologies, alternative energy sources. So this is a very, very important development that the regulatory body has given to all the institutes, that you should include the environmental issues while making the institutional development plan. Even the NAC, when they accredit your institution, these green initiatives get the points for getting graded. Now, UGC guidelines and curriculum framework follows the NEP 2020 recommendations. And if you see, these guidelines are an updated version of the syllabus developed in 2017. There are some major changes which have taken place. I will tell you. In 2017, it was introduced as a 8-module course as a part of choice-based credit system, as a compulsory ability enhancement compulsory course. And all courses designated as AECC have a specific focus on enriching knowledge through content, and all disciplines have to adhere to these guidelines. Now, I would request Sakshi to show in the screen. I will give you how the evolution of syllabus has taken place. What is the evaluation mechanism of the syllabus of the students, and what credits were there, where it was mandatory, where it was counted, all those things. So let us start. Sakshi, can you show on the screen UGC 2003 syllabus?
Yeah, sure, sir. Just a second.
Yeah. Okay. Friends, I'm showing you this syllabus because this was the first syllabus which was given in response to the court orders. And if you see the syllabus, there is no chapter on climate change or environmental management. Just see a separate chapter because this was introduced the first one. And if you go down, though there is a talk of climate, there is no special chapter on that. Then if you go down again, role of individuals, okay, fine. You can go to the evaluation mechanism, what they are given. In the next page, it must have come. Yeah, no. Yeah, go up, go up, go up, go up. Slightly up, please. No. Go to the syllabus. There is an evaluation mechanism. How to evaluate the candidate. Yeah, below this, there should be the
Below
method
this,
how to do it.
there's the preface before. Maybe you
Where is that? Okay, fine. Okay, I'll do it. You can stop this screen sharing. I will show it. No problem. Okay. Now in this syllabus, if you see carefully, okay, I should now share the screen. Just a moment. Okay. Now, if you see the syllabus in 2003, they gave 50 lectures, 4 credit, and what was important is fieldwork was 25 and exam was 75 marks. There was short answer and all this. The next syllabus, Sakshi, if you have AICT syllabus, you can show if you have.
Yeah, just a second.
Why I am giving this syllabus is to let you know what changes have occurred and why they have occurred.
Oh yeah, this is the AICT one, I think.
No, AICT, the other one. In my okay, I think Sakshi, if it is not there, no problem. I will show it at the end.
Okay.
Okay, if you see the AICT syllabus, what was different from the UGC syllabus? 1 minute. Was that it was non-credit and mandatory, and the syllabus was tuned to include engineering components. And in 2017, UGC came up with this compulsory course, ability enhancement compulsory course, and they gave 4 credits for this, and all undergraduates have to pass this. They introduced this in the first and second semester in CBCS, and the grading was CGPA method of grading. Again, in 2015, there was a complete course on BSc Environmental Science. Model syllabus was given by UGC, the complete syllabus. Now, in all these syllabus, you don't find the importance of the topics which they are given in the 2023 module. That's why I am giving the background. Okay, and the evaluation methods were different. Now, okay, now in this 2015 document, if you see, it also talks about qualifications of teachers and fellowships. I'm sorry for the fellowships mistake. Spelling is SHIPS, some typing mistake. So this faculty, they should be trained in, they should be postgraduate and PhD in environmental studies and environmental sciences. And they also propose to increase the number of fellowship. And they also gave a strong recommendation that interdisciplinary environmental program at UG level will be successful only when independent departments of environment are established. So you can see far-reaching recommendations were made by this committee also. Now I come to the latest document 2023. Now this document has 8 modules like every other module, but the 2 important changes which have taken place is that this gives a complete focus on climate change, impacts and mitigation, 1 complete unit, and environmental management, which there are topics I will tell you, they are very important. And they give 4 credit as per this. And they also give the flexibility to the higher education institutions to introduce them as per their convenience and complete these courses. Now, this change in content, what was the change in content? Climate change and sustainable development. These were added specifically. And curriculum covers 8 interdisciplinary topics in 9 units, and 1 unit is dedicated to practical exposure and field training. Field training is also changed, and the new themes which are introduced are climate change, impact, adaptation, and mitigation. Today, you are seeing whenever prime ministers or presidents meet, one of the important issues is, climate change. It's one of the important issues, the environmental issues. So this has occupied the mind. Today, you ask anybody in the street or even a kid, they are able to tell that it is because of climate change. So this is the amount of awareness people have got by, so much effort of dedicated organizations. And environmental management is very important, and I will talk how this is related to sustainability. Now, if you see the unit 2, one important change which has come, which is very important, is introduction to sustainable development. Sustainable development goals, targets and indicators, challenges and strategies for SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Also, friends, this latest document gives the learning outcomes. So far, these were not clear. Now these are clearly learning outcomes are there. Unit outline is given, and the evaluation mechanism is more clear than earlier. And if you see, the climate change has been given a complete unit, and how the student has to understand everything, including the national role, the national policies, the international developments in this area, and all the things which adaptation and mitigation. Now, if you see the environmental management, this talks about circular economy. This talks about life cycle analysis, cost benefit analysis, environmental audit, risk assessment, and waste management concepts and sustainability. All these are new topics which are introduced. When you see the field work, a major change has been made compared to the earlier policies. Like it is a discussion on one national and one international case study related to environment and sustainable. Today, we are all globally connected, and rightly so, we should have one international case study to study. And they have also included that campus environmental management activities, because if you do not work in your home where you are, then you will not make a difference. So that students can do the activities for solid waste disposal, water management, sanitation, sewage treatment, energy management, all those things, number of possibilities are there. Now, starting from 2023 onwards, UGC has made it mandatory for all university students to study environmental education. And why? Because they want that we should address to the commitment we have made to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Under the Ministry of Education guidelines, all universities and colleges have to incorporate a compulsory core subject on the environmental studies across undergraduate programs, including general engineering, medical, architecture, pharmacy, management, and other fields. Now, environmental subject earlier, it was sometimes it was non-credit course, sometimes it was just a subject, but the marks were not included by many institutes. And that is why UGC had to time and again quote the Supreme Court order that if you do not comply, it will be defiance of the court order, and action could be taken. And environmental education has become now a main subject. It is not elective or optional. It is a 4-credit course, and community engagement, service, practical knowledge, and real life experience to be focused along with theory. And student can achieve this credit within a time frame of 6 to 8 semesters, assuming a 4-year BSc. So now numerous universities in India are offering certificate program, diploma programs, degree programs, awareness programs in environmental studies and related discipline. If you go to Education Ministry's e-learning portal, SWAYAM, there are large number of video materials relating to environmental science. There are guidelines to cater students from diverse disciplinary backgrounds, and also includes topics to sensitize students about the nation's commitment towards achieving sustainable development goals. Now, environmental, what is the significance of this policy? Environmental education is not a curriculum. It encourages comprehension and responsible attitude towards environment. It inspires people to become aware and take steps to address environmental issues. Now, an integration of environmental education into education system is crucial and transformative. Community outreach and public campaigns are to be initiated. The connection is very important between environmental issues and economy. That is the sustainable development. What development models and survival is related to environment. And you're seeing today how climate change is damaging the economy of most countries and causing threat to life. So it is related to survival. And if there has to be sustainable growth, inclusive growth, that hinges on sustainability. And to understand sustainability, we have to incorporate environmental education and sensitivity. Now, India took a very, very great contribution to the world. It is called Life Movement. It is a pro-planet people, lifestyle for environment. This mission, Life, was India-led global mass movement to nudge individual and community action to protect and preserve the environment. What is this mission Life? Lifestyle for environment. It says that, if you see the UNEP report, it says if 1 billion people out of the global population of 8 billion adopt environmental friendly behaviors in their daily lives, the global carbon emissions could drop by approximately 20%. Please don't think that your actions are not important. Each and every action is important. Even if you see MC Mehta, who filed PIL in the Supreme Court, because of him, so many legislations have come in the environment. And the 2020 UNDP report says that humans wield more power over planet than ever before. And we should use the power to redefine what we mean by progress. And the development models are also development politics, all are decided by understanding the environment. Now, friends, sustainable development goals cuts across all disciplines and all subject matters of education, and they relate to human and planetary well-being. Whether you talk of poverty, whether you talk of hunger, whether you talk of good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water sanitation, clean energy, decent work, industry innovation, inequality, sustainable cities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institution, and partnership. All these are related to environmental science. And whichever subject you are, you can relate to the environment. It doesn't matter if it is from the social studies part or environmental studies part, or it is from law part, economics part. You can do it. There are a number of references I have given. And environment is related to survival. Environment is related to different educational system. Wherever you are, whether you are studying ecosystems, biodiversity, climate change, conservation, whether you are in geography, human geography, physical geography, environmental geography, or environmental geology, environmental chemistry, green chemistry, environmental physics, renewable energy, environmental sociology, cultural ecology, environmental economics, environmental engineering, environmental health, environmental law, or environment and agriculture, the environment is a very, very dominant field, and you cannot ignore it. And we have to, accept it, and we have to go along with it for our own survival, for the economy, for the welfare of the human and planetary well-being. Thank you very much, all of you, for the very patient listening. If there are some questions, obviously, I will be very happy to answer any clarifications.
Thanks a lot, sir. And that was indeed a very, very informative webinar. And I'm sure that a lot of our questions about the NEP and what it says about environment education have been answered. If anybody has any questions, we still have some time to address a few questions. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay. Yeah, Pratik, sir,
Yeah,
you have a question.
Shall I go ahead?
Yeah, please do.
Hello, Professor. It was a pleasure listening to you, and thank you to CSC for organizing this session. My question was related to the point that you raised during your webinar. It was related to the point where you said, it's just not about delivering a course, but it is more about bringing attitude change. So
Yes.
I think that this is very important point, and I struggle with this whenever I deliver a lecture in the class. that students look at it from just completing this course rather than getting involved into it and then thinking about it. So I just wanted to ask you that what has been your experience, interacting with different colleges and different professors, how they deal with it, or how do you think that we should deal with this kind of problem?
Actually, let me tell you, friends, my experience has been that you see, UGC gives guidelines, and sometimes, if the spirit is not followed, only a technical formality is done. That is a different thing. You have pollution control certificates. The law only sees whether you have the control certificate, not that whether your vehicle is polluting or not. So, what I want to say to you is that, UGC can formulate guidelines, and universities can formulate through their statutory bodies. It is finally up to the teacher. And my experience, my friend, says that if we are sincere in our efforts, our students support us in all the activities and they take part, whether it is school children or college or university. And even if you do something, even adults, when they do something sincerely, for example, I am part of a Swedish alumni group where senior people are there of my age and younger than me also, and they are all employed, but they are also involved in some number of e-campaigns and cleaning up like e-waste issues. And it's only, I think, you have to be the change you wish to see. And if you are sincere, I am sure students, they will love you, and they will accept it. But they should be told that this is not for examination purpose. Education is, it's only to bring a change in their thought process. Unfortunately, we have linked everything to job, and that has created, one of the, well, job is important, but students' attitude towards being a part of a community and global community is very important, and how they can take part in the activities. So they are very important. I think if the teacher is committed, he will find a way, whether it is having marks or not marks. But having marks, in a way, brings a system in order that you are evaluated at the end of the program. This is my experience.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Before we move on to the next question, if you found this session informative and interesting, we have put the link for joining the Gen network in the group chat. You can click on that link, fill out the form, and you will be informed about future such sessions. Dhwani ma'am, could we have your question, please?
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible now. Please go ahead.
So my question was that do universities have any kind of funds allocated for faculty development, or for that matter, even for student projects? Because we are talking about community engagement and students being involved in actually working on sustainable development goals. But to actually translate this into actual learning, universities need to be ready for it. So are there any norms or any funds specifically allocated for the faculty also to be actually understanding what's happening on the ground level, and how do you relate it to the actual curriculum?
Okay, you asked a very good question, madam. And already the government is, giving courses, short-term courses, and faculty development programs, refresher courses through, which was earlier called the Academic Staff College. Then it was called Human Resource Development. Now it is called Madan Mohan Malviya Mission Training Center. And government is funding this. And government is giving the leave for the teachers, and there are several online Swayam courses which are free where you can get. And if you see the current NEP, it clearly says that when you form the policy, you have to give importance to all these environmental issues which I mentioned in my presentation, and they have to allocate funds, because institutional development plan is not only programs and policies, it is also of allocating resources, sequencing of allocation of resources. I'm very sure that with this transparent policy coming where IDP is not prepared by the vice chancellor or principal. It is prepared by taking into consideration the opinion of all the stakeholders, and all the stakeholders include alumni also. And once you do such a program, one is sense of belongingness will be there, and money also will flow. And most of the projects can be done even at a low cost. Even creating awareness about something can be done. Of course, I agree, if you have to do research, you have to do. If you see the classification of NEP, they are given teaching universities, research universities, and undergraduate colleges. And they also said that it need not stick to one. One can migrate to another. A teaching university can become a research university, or an undergraduate college can become teaching, then become research. It's all flexible. But here, clearly, when you identify in the IDP, what is your goals, what you will focus on, so everything will come in that, and I'm sure funds will be allocated, and based on IDP, your institute will get the accreditation done, and the grants, higher education grants council will also give grants on that. So you will see also there are number of examples, maybe still it is very less, but there are some institutes like BHU, like IIT Delhi, IIT Chennai. If you see some of the institutes, the alumni, or University of Mumbai, you can see alumni have donated large amount of money for these kind of activities. And I'm sure that even you can tap in the CSR programs of different institutes to get small amount of money should not be a big problem. And I'm sure every institute head will like his or her faculty to contribute something to the environment, because this is the least. I think the IDP mentions that we should have a social mission in addition to academic mission. Otherwise, universities will lose relevance in the system. If we are not able to address or solve any problems or even give suggestions, and good universities nowadays are becoming think tanks and advising the government on various issues. I think these are the roles we should play, because we are ultimately getting the taxpayers' money. And as I said to you, we are a huge ecosystem, more than 1100 universities, 45,000 colleges, and you can imagine 15 lakh teachers. And we are still aiming at 50%. That means you can imagine how many more universities have to come, colleges, and how we have to expand our online mode of education if we have to achieve GER of 50% by 2035.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. A lot of you are asking about the presentation and the recording for the session. So I'd like to inform you that we are live streaming the session. We'll be sharing the link with you after the session. And the PPT will also be uploaded to the CSE website. We'll share the link for that as well. Nidhi ma'am, can we have your question, please?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. It's quite informative session, sir. So my question is about that why the different universities are approaching different curriculum framework, and they are not making the uniformity in environment education. Like in our Haryana, we have 2 credit system in the undergraduate classes, not the 4 credit system.
You see, actually, before this policy, you are right, there is a variation. And this policy has given a broad framework, and it says that you should complete this credit requirements in 6 to 8 semesters. Now, this 2023 document, I am not sure if this has been accepted in all universities in Haryana, whether the Higher Education Council has notified this as a document. Certainly, they have notified that environmental education should be compulsory, and a little bit variations can be there, because it is not, even when we had the other pattern of examination, the Board of Studies can give 20% or so variation in syllabus. It may be related to local issues, it may be related to the community where you are. So it doesn't matter, but ultimately the basic concepts of environment have to be taught. Let me tell you, even IDP doesn't say every institute should have the same institution development plan. Every institute is free to design its own environmental institutional development plan. Why? Because each institute is located in a different location. Each institute stage of development is different. Each institute's core strengths are different. Now, let me tell you one example. If you take IIT, you can see the mission statement says they want to produce technology persons with technological skills. If you see the Delhi University, they say they want to produce well-rounded individuals. The missions are different. And if you see Central University of Andhra Pradesh, the focus is on the Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh, then it's on the tribal development. If you see environmental Guru Jambashir University, where I was earlier, the focus was on the environment and also on media management, etc. In the act, it is mentioned. And if you see IGNU, where I'm currently working, it is open online and ODL education in the country we have to promote. So each institution has a definite thing, but the syllabus will be broadly same, but they have the freedom and flexibility to do it. NEP doesn't put you in a very rigid framework. These are guidelines, and then your statutory bodies can always do it. But certainly the basic concepts of environment, what is mentioned in the thing and what is the credit requirements, they have to be met. For example, the project work you can design completely based on where you are located.
Thank you so much, sir. It's quite a realistic answer that each university is making the framework according to their own resources and statutory things
Sure. We cannot have a rigid framework in India. That's why in the first few slides, I showed the complexity of higher education ecosystem. It is not a small country, where you have 3 or 4 or 10 universities and you pass some kind of guideline and it is implemented as such. Even there, it is not implemented, and ours is a huge complex system. And just now we are, struggling to get the NEP implemented. It will take some time, but it's a step that we have a single regulator instead of running to multiple regulators each time.
Thanks a lot, sir. We actually have a lot of you with us, and this is a very pertinent question. How many credits are allotted to EVS in different institutions across the country? So earlier we were not able to launch the poll. Maybe we can do that now and get a quick glimpse of what the situation is in different universities. So you'll see a poll on your screen. So you can just tell us which syllabus is being followed for environment studies in your institution and how many credits are allotted. If it's other than 2 or 4, you can choose other in the option.
Excellent idea, Sakshi, to get the poll from the educators. Excellent.
Right. So we can see that majority institutions are still following the 2017 version of the syllabus, and there's a wide variation in how the paper is assessed as well. Somewhere it's qualifying, and somewhere it's a 2-credit paper. There are a lot of universities where it's neither 2 nor 4 credit paper. So yeah, we'll just wait for a few more seconds and end the poll so that you can see the results on your screen as well. And you can get an idea, a small snapshot of what the current status is. Right. So 64% of those of you who you answered said that the 2017 version of the syllabus is being followed, and you can see the variation in the second question. If you have any other comments, feedback, insights, or how the plan is being formulated for the upcoming session for environment studies for your particular institution, you want to share it with the network, please do write to us. We would be glad to share it with other network members. Maybe that could lead to a very collaborative and healthy discussion on the subject. So we'll put our email ID in the chat box. And if you have not yet joined the Gen Network, we'll again put the link for joining the network in the chat box. Kindly do join. Thanks a lot, Bhaskar sir, for joining us today. It was really a pleasure having you. And the session, of course, was very, very informative, very detailed, and answered a lot of questions.
Thank you, Sakshi, and thank you, Sunita Narayanji and CSE, and thank you all my friends and colleagues and students and senior professors and colleagues from abroad who took out time and joined. Thanks a lot. Thanks once again for all the patient listening.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next month again with yet another informative session. We look forward to seeing you in the next session as well. Good evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.